what might have been and look at what can be. English, PA First Grade College.
I'm Sriveni Ronak Salian, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmaceutics, PACP. We extend a warm welcome to you all on behalf of PA First Grade College and PA College of Pharmacy to the Anti-Drug and Anti-Ragging Awareness Program.
Around the world, this phenomenon can prevent it, and the reason disrupts the student's life is ragging. Every act of ragging, major or minor, is beyond the limits of decency, morality, and humanity. Today, we are here to create awareness among the young minds and to question ourselves where we stand in this regard.
To start with, may we all be one in mind, body and spirit as we praise and thank our Almighty God for all His graces and blessings. May I now request Mr. Sahil Ismail from 3rd year B Farm to recite the prayer.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good morning. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما الخمر والميسر والأنساب والأزلام رجز من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوا لعلكم تفلحون. وأنفقوا في سبيل الله ولا تلقوا بأيديكم إلى التهلكة وأحسنوا إن الله يحب المحسنين. يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر من نفعهما ويسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل العفو كذلك يبين الله لكم الآيات لعلكم تتفكرون. صدق الله العظيم. I seek refuge of Allah from Shaitan, the rejected one. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. O people who believe, wine and gamblings and idols and the dirts and the impure, the work of Shaitan, therefore keep avoiding them so that you may succeed. and spend your wealth in Allah's cause, and do not fall into rain with your own hands, and be virtue. The writers are the beloved of Allah. They ask you the degree regarding wine and gambling. Say, my dear Prophet, in both it is great sin and some worldly benefit for men, but their sin is greater than their benefit. And they ask you what they should spend. Says that which remains spare. This is how Allah explains His verses to you, so that you may think. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Dignitaries on the dais, my dear colleagues, and dear students, before I formally welcome the dignitaries, a brief introduction to today's gathering. Today it is not a function, it is a awareness meet, we can call. We, the human beings, are habituated to many different things in our lives. Human being is a social animal, as all of you know, and we live in a society, and the society has many demands, and those demands may be positive or may be negative, and we have to cope up with all those demands many times. And when we start failing to cope with such demands, we try to find some alternate ways. We do not face with the strength, with the challenge, but we always try to find refuge in some or the other alternate methods which may be harmful at point. It may be destructive also. We need awareness about these kind of habits that we develop to cope up certain demands, and more so it is happening in field of education, in educational institutions. About 11% are actually reported in print media about some incidents happen, but they are only serious. If you see properly, almost 1 in 14 students will have some or the other traces in their blood. What is this? These are called as drugs or substance. We are fighting this menace called as substance abuse. This awareness is very, very important for all of us to know what are the ill effects of these substances which we get habituated to. And the second part is the new students are entering the campus, and many of them have some inhibitions, some apprehensions about the campus. more than 17% students all across the country are reported to have some or the other bad experiences due to the menace called as ragging. When a student enter into a campus with lots of apprehension, it is actually our duty as the seniors to guide them, to console them, to reassure them. Instead, we try to intimidate, we try to scare them, which may ultimately lead to various consequences. There are many instances where dire consequences have happened because of this thing called as ragging. And ragging is not only physical assault, but also it can be a verbal misbehavior or a rudeness. Everything includes ragging. So, to bring awareness about that, we decided to hold this meet in presence of none other than the Deputy Commissioner of Police himself, because whatever the words, it should come from the horse's mouth. A police commissioner, deputy commissioner is the best person at this juncture to tell you about the program, and that is why when we invited Mr. BP Dinesh Kumar, the Deputy Commissioner of Police Crime Branch, Mangaluru, he readily accepted our invitation and wholeheartedly he prepared the whole length of his PowerPoint presentation so as to reach out to you for his effort, for his presence. I wholeheartedly welcome Mr. BP Dinesh Kumar. Welcome you, sir.
I request Mr. Sharafuddin PK, AGM campus, to welcome our chief guest, BP Dinesh Kumar, with a sapling.
Drugs or the substances are chemical substances. They have various degree of action on the physiology of human being, and it causes very, very mild to very serious damage to the human body. And who could explain this better than a pathologist herself? And when we invited Dr. Maji Jose, Deputy Director, Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, and Dean Student Affairs, Yennopaya deemed to be university, she readily accepted and wholeheartedly she has come here, and she is going to spend some time bringing awareness among you. Madam, it is my privilege to welcome you on this occasion.
I request Dr. Syed Amin, Dean Student Affairs and Director CMSR, to welcome Dr. Maji Jose with a sapling.
No function would be, or no meet would be complete without the presence of the esteemed General Manager, Assistant General Manager of PA campus. I wholeheartedly welcome Mr. Sharfuddin PK to this function, sir. It is my honor and privilege to welcome my colleague Dr. Sarfaraz J. Hashim, Dr. Sajish Raghunathan, Dr. Syed Amin, and the Director of Purchase, Mr. Haris Tedi, to this August function. The meet would be highly incomplete without the presence of the most important audience, that is you, the students. It is my privilege to welcome all of you to this meet. Welcome. I would also like to welcome all the teaching and non-teaching staff, come one and all. If I have missed anybody, it is not intentional. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and welcome to you too. Great leaders don't set out to be a leader, they set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, but always about the goal. We are extremely honored to have here with us today an eminent and distinguished personality, Mr. Bangalore City. He hails from Madikeri, Kodagu district. He has graduated MSc Biosciences from Mangal Gangotri Mangalore University, Konaje. Sir has been worked as a teacher and lecturer, Navodaya Vidyalaya Madikeri, Bharati Junior College, Maragodu, and Government Senior College, Madikeri. Sir has joined Police Department in 1994 as Sub-Inspector. He has underwent basic training for a year at Karnataka Police Academy, Mysore, and practical training for a year at Maiko Layouts Police Station, Bangalore. He worked as a sub-inspector at Bangalore, Mudigiri, and Malpe. On promotion as a police inspector, worked at Udupi, Baindur, Brahmavara, Manipal, Krishnarajanagar, Mescom, and Karnataka Lokayukta, Mandya, and Udupi. On promotion as DSP, worked at Anti-Naxal Force Kundapur Subdivision and Madikeri Subdivision. He has promoted as SP and presently posted in Mangalore. Now I request our Honorable Chief Guest to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Ellarigo namaskara. A lovely morning to all. First of all, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the organizers of this program for having invited me to this function and made me address you all. You, the younger generation of India. It is very unfortunate to find that the drugs have become the newest trend. And it is seen that the younger generation have become so much obsessed to follow anything new or which is a trend. So is the case of drugs. Nowadays, the younger generation have so much obsession for drugs. As the head of crime and traffic of Mangaluru city, I find drug abuse has got a direct link with the crimes as well as the accidents that we see daily. It is seen that one amongst 5 accident cases, especially fatal cases, we see drug abuse. In other non-fatal cases, 1 amongst 10, we find drug abuse. Similarly is the case of crimes. Maybe a murder case, maybe an attempt to murder case, or for that matter, a hurt or a theft. In all cases, we find the influence of drugs. I will only be speaking in brief about what drugs are, because the other guest will be speaking entirely about the effects of drugs. I will be speaking about the laws which are enacted to curtail drug abuse. Maybe because, as I was told, only a few cases of drug abuse is being seen in the premises. Maybe you might have heard a single cigarette which contains tobacco, it costs not less than 150 rupees to 200 rupees. And you all know these drugs, including tobacco, they are highly addictive. If you use one, definitely you will have to use another, and it goes on. And where to get the money? There is a saying, you can either beg, borrow, or steal. Finally, you will land up in stealing or something like theft. These drugs, especially what you call ganja, cannabis, it is highly addictive. A cigarette may hold a few grams of ganja, which may cost up to around 150 to 200 rupees. Maybe all of you are well aware of what drugs are, because as I have told, this is a trend. College authorities will have asked many guests to speak over drug abuse. So drugs, they are chemical substances which affect the body. So what these drugs are, as you all know, all medicines are drugs, but not all drugs are medicines. In a case, you feel a headache or a bodily pain, what will you do? So you will have to go for some analgesic, maybe a paracetamol, Dolo 650. What are these? These are drugs. So, definitely there will be a confusion. What is drug abuse and what these medicines are? So, you will find two types of drugs. One is legal drug, another one is illegal drug. What these legal drugs do, or what's the use of these legal drugs? They are used for the cure of some of the other ailments of the body. Then what these illegal drugs are? Illegal drugs are consumed in order to get a state of maybe drunkenness. What are the usually abused drugs? Maybe, I am sure all have consumed drugs. Because, first of all, you all may be knowing of the drug caffeine. Have all of you heard about this drug caffeine? Sure, because we all have tasted either coffee or tea. So this has a drug which is called caffeine. So what this does? This is, as you all know, it stimulates us. It gets us into a state of activeness. Similarly, along with this caffeine, we have alcohol. We have another drug, nicotine. Nicotine is the active ingredient of tobacco. These are recreational drugs which, when consumed, give us pleasure. And these drugs, as you all know, are very much needed for curing ailments. So what these drugs do, first of all, they will have an effect on the central nervous system, and it affects how a person thinks, feels, or behaves. So it has an effect on the central nervous system, that is the brain. So now going into the different types of drugs. First of all, as I have said, they are the stimulants. Caffeine, nicotine, cannabis, as well as cocaine. So I'll explain you what cocaine is, what cannabis is later on. What it does, it increases the activity of brain, it increases the heart rate, increases the blood pressure, increases the temperature. And these stimulants, they are also called as uppers. They help you improve your mood. Next, coming on to the second type, these are the depressants. Examples are alcohol, cannabis, opioids, that is heroin, morphine, and codeine. What it does, it slows down the functions of the central nervous system. It affects concentration, coordination, and the ability to respond. And the third type are the hallucinogens. Examples are cannabis and LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide. What it does, it changes your sense of reality, the way you see, the way you hear, taste, smell, or feel things in a different manner. And you may have unusual thoughts, feelings, etc. As I have said, the most common drug of abuse is, along with caffeine, nicotine, which is a highly addictive stimulant or drug which is found in tobacco. It creates a momentary feeling of elation or high, leading to addiction. It is as addictive as heroin or cocaine, which makes it extremely difficult to quit. Maybe students will be into smoking. It is observed that those who start smoking before the age of 21, they have the hardest time breaking the habit. Physical effect being rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, increased blood pressure, and they have an increased risk of lung diseases, heart diseases, and stroke. and the withdrawal symptoms being anxiety, anger, restlessness, insomnia, or loss of sleep. As you can see, shortness of breath, what that means. If you are an athlete, first of all, I request each and everyone to have some sort of exercise. You will have to be indulging in some sort of exercises daily. If you continuously or you are in a habit of smoking, definitely you will have problem in running. You can't run even 100 meters because that affects your breathlessness, shortness of breath. So, indulging in smoking, definitely it is very bad for health. For this reason, the government has enacted one law that is called COTPA, C-O-T-P-A. Cigarettes and other tobacco products, prohibition of advertisement and regulation of trade and commerce, production, supply and distribution in the year 2003. So in this COTPA Act, Section 3 gives the definitions of various words. Section 4 prohibits smoking in public place. Maybe all are aware, smoking is prohibited in any public place. Section 5 prohibits any advertisement, and after Section 20, punishment sections are given. And I am sure that in all educational institutions, maybe something around 100 to 200 meters, there should not be any shop which sells cigarettes or any other products of tobacco. It is punishable. Then I think you might have heard the term e-cigarettes or electronic cigarettes. Nowadays, electronic cigarettes have also become a trend. For this, the law enacted is prohibition of electronic cigarettes, production, manufacture, import, export, transport, sale, distribution, storage, and advertisement. So this act was enacted in the year 2019. In this, Section 4 explains about the prohibition for sale, transport, import, export, manufacture, distribution, anything that is illegal, that is prohibited. Punishment in this case, for the first time, users for the first time will be imprisoned for a term which may extend to 1 year or may be fined with 1 lakh rupees or with both. Second and subsequent offense, imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years and fine up to 5 lakhs. Section 13 says that all the offenses here are cognizable. So I will explain to you what cognizable is in meantime. Finally, we are about to look into a act or law which is very stringent. Punitive action is more here, and I find it very much essential that each and every student will have a thought about this act and should be well versed. So what will happen? So if you abuse drugs. So here, what are narcotic drugs? because the act is Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. So what are narcotic drugs? Those drugs which induce sleep are called as narcotic drugs, and similarly the substances which modifies the mind are called as psychotropic substances. Okay, a brief about what made the enactment of this law. What was the necessity to enact this law? This NDPS Act came into force in the year 1985. Earlier to 1985, there were no regular laws or stringent laws weren't there. And you can see smoking of cannabis or ganja, it is mentioned in the Atharva Veda, and the recreational use of cannabis was common and acceptable in the Indian society in the ancient period. Until 1985, cannabis and its derivatives like marijuana, bhang, they were sold legally in the markets. After the UN Drug Convention, the NDPS Act came into existence. And you can also see our Constitution, Article 47, it states that the state shall endeavor to prohibit intoxicating drinks and drugs that are injurious to health. What are the objectives of this act? To establish stringent provisions for the control, regulation, and supervision of the illegal possession, sale, transit, consumption of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. Also, they have made a mention, one more act is there, that is PIT NDPS, Prevention of Illegal Trafficking of Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances. This is also very stringent. In the PIT NDPS Act, whoever has got any ill-gotten wealth from the trafficking of these drugs, all the ill-gotten wealth will be confiscated to the government. So this act, NDPS Act, it consists of 83 sections and is divided into 6 chapters. Chapter 4 deals with the provisions of the offense, penalties, and punishment. Okay, now let's see which are all the drugs that are abused and how they are classified. First of all, it is classified as natural drugs, semi-synthetic drugs, and synthetic drugs. So what are these natural drugs? Natural drugs, they are obtained naturally. For example, one is the opium poppy. You might have heard the term opium. So this is a plant of the species Papaver somniferum. Similarly, another one is cannabis, or the commonly called ganja plant. This is the plant of genus Cannabis. And the third one is coca, plant of any species of the genus Erythroxylum. This second plant, ganja or cannabis, it is widely grown in India, whereas the coca, it is the native of South America, and opium poppy is also grown in the certain Asian countries. Thus, opium, ganja, hashish oil, coca leaves, and coca paste These are all natural drugs. Then coming on to semi-synthetic drugs. These natural drugs, they are treated chemically to either alter or isolate its active ingredients or to modify it. Morphine, codeine, heroin, etc. These are the semi-synthetic drugs produced from the natural product opium. Similarly, cocaine is a semi-synthetic drug produced from coca plant. Then coming on to the synthetic drugs. Synthetic drugs are purely chemicals. They are produced through chemical processes. Examples are amphetamines, ecstasy, diazepam, methaquinone, commonly called as mandrax. This ecstasy is also called as MDMA. These are the synthetic drugs. Now, coming on to the punishment. In the NDPS Act, drug abuse is measured in terms of quantity. 3 different categories are made. One is small quantity. Second one is lesser than commercial quantity and greater than small quantity. And the third one is commercial quantity. The quantity for different drugs and its category are not uniform, and it is different for different types of drugs. For example, a small quantity of charas is 100 grams, whereas its commercial quantity is 1 kg. Whereas small quantity of ganja is 1 kg, whereas the commercial quantity is 20 kgs. Similarly, small quantity of MDMA or ecstasy is 0.5 grams, whereas its commercial quantity is 10 grams. So you will have to be well aware how much quantity determines how much punishment. So I have a brief note about how much the small quantity and the commercial quantity is for certain drugs. As you can see, MDMA, ecstasy, small quantity is 0.5 grams and commercial quantity is 10 grams. Similarly, ganja, small quantity is 1 kg and commercial quantity is 20 kgs. And poppy straw, small quantity is 1 kg, whereas the commercial quantity is 50 kgs. It is equal to have 50 kgs of poppy straw or 20 kgs of ganja or 10 grams of MDMA to make it a serious offense. Before you learn about how or what the punishments are, so I would like to give you a brief idea of what laws are. In fact, we, the police or the law enforcing agency, we refer 3 major books. These are epic books. One is Indian Penal Code. I hope you might have heard about these books. Another one is Criminal Procedure Code. And the third is Indian Evidence Act. What this IPC is? In fact, the IPC, it came into force in the year 1860. It was left out by the Britishers. It explains what is an offense, what is the punishment for an offense. For example, the definition of an offense goes like this: any act which is done by any person If there is any punishment, that means it is an offense. So you are free to move your hands when you are alone, when you are in an empty space. But when you are in a crowd, if you swing your hand and your hand touches another man's body, it will be an offense. It is defined in the Indian Penal Code. For example, if you hit a person with your hand, it is punishable under section 323 of IPC. If you hit a person with any instrument, maybe a stick, it amounts to an offense under section 324. Similarly, if a person is killed by another person, which we call it as murder, and it is explained in section 302, it is called as 302 IPC. Similarly, we call it half murder or attempt to murder, it is 307 IPC. Maybe most of you are wondering what these sections are. But in IPC, 511 sections are there. It is explained in detail. The definitions are given as well as the punishments are given. Then coming on to the Criminal Procedure Code, it gives the procedure as to how police work, how the courts work. Maybe you might have heard of the term FIR or First Information Report. Whenever any offense has occurred, so you report to a police station, that will form the first information report. Similarly, this CRPC will explain, as you have already seen, a term cognizable offense. What is a cognizable offense? A cognizable offense is one in which a police officer can arrest without warrant. No need for a warrant from any court to arrest any person who has committed an offense, cognizable offense. Similarly, we have non-cognizable offense, wherein the police cannot arrest without a warrant. Another term that needs to be understood is bail. What is a bail? What is a bailable offense? What is a non-bailable offense? Why you need to understand these terms is, this is very important if you are into NDPS or Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. Bail means it is a right of a person whenever any person who is accused of a cognizable offense and the punishment for which is less than 7 years, he is bound to be released on bail. Police are bound to release any person who is arrested, who has committed an offense which is punishable for a term which is less than 7 years, maybe 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 7 years, we have to release on bail. Then what are these non-bailable offenses? Non-bailable offenses are those in which the police cannot release an accused on bail. He will be sent to jail. You have to understand this term because in most cases which involve commercial quantity of drugs, those offenses are non-bailable ones. Once you are arrested, once it is found that you are in possession of a commercial quantity of a drug, you will not be released on bail. You will have to land up in jail. Because we have come across certain cases wherein these drug peddlers, they use students. I repeat, those drug peddlers, they use students for trafficking of drugs. Maybe you might be going in a bus. One unknown person approaches you with a small packet wherein an address has been written on it. He may ask you to hand it over to some person whose name is on the envelope. And he may give you some amount of money, maybe 1,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees. You may think, hey, it's a very small packet. What is there? If I can hand it over to the other person, anyway, I'm going to get money. That packet, that parcel may contain any drug. As you know, 10 grams of MDMA drug is commercial quantity. If the police find you, definitely you will be in jail. So for that reason, you will have to understand certain terms of the Indian Penal Code. Then coming into Evidence Act, this is also very much important. First of all, police use this Evidence Act whenever an FIR is registered in a police station. Police will investigate the case. We will charge sheet the case and send it to the court. If the contents of the charge sheet, that means that any person who has committed an offense, that has to be proved accordance with the Indian Evidence Act. In accordance to the Indian Evidence Act, that has to be proved before the court. In Evidence Act, there is one provision, presumption of innocence. In general cases, maybe in a case of murder, maybe in a case of an attempt to murder, maybe in case of a rape or any serious offense, the general provision is that the police have to prove that the accused person has committed that offense. For example, a person fires a gun on an animal. It accidentally hits a human being. In general terms, when that man has died because of the gunshot, that amounts to murder. It has to be proved that the person did not have any intention of killing that man. In fact, he has just fired on that animal and it accidentally hit the man and killed him. This, the police have to prove that whether that person had the intention to kill or just the knowledge that if he misses a hit at that animal, if any person is moving on that side and if the shot hits the man, if he is killed, that amounts to culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. Here, he did not have any intention to kill that man. Accidentally, that man got killed. So the police have to prove that the person, whether he had the knowledge, he had the intention to kill that man. But in the case of Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, it is for the accused or the person who is having that commercial quantity of drugs to prove that he is innocent. Unless and until he himself proves that he is innocent, he will be in jail and he will not be let free. So, each and everyone who have gathered here, please, so most of you are indulged in talking amongst yourselves. I request you, please listen to what I am telling to, because we have seen drug traffickers are using students for trafficking, and the students unknowingly they will land up in trouble. So whenever you meet any unknown person, you receive anything from unknown person, you have to be very, very careful. And another thing, in regular cases, bail is a right. A person is bound to be released on bail if he gives some surety or security to the court in non-bailable cases. But in the case of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, you will have to prove your innocence even for bail. You will not be granted bail if you are caught with commercial quantity of drugs. In regular cases, there are different courts that deal with the trial of cases. But in the case of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, it is compulsory that a special court is formed and minimum judge, rank of the judge, will be the additional sessions judge, or it will be tried in the sessions court. Offenses and penalties. So now we'll look into what the offenses are and what the punishment is. Whoever found cultivating opium, cannabis, or coca plants without license, rigorous imprisonment up to 10 years, along with fine of rupees 1 lakh. You may be wondering, in what way we are concerned with cultivation. We have seen in many cases, even in hostels or in PGs, students have got the habit of cultivating a single plant of cannabis, ganja. We have seen students growing a single plant or many plants that can be grown in their house even. If you are caught, you will be punished with a rigorous imprisonment of 10 years and fine of rupees 1 lakh. Similarly, production, manufacture, possession. So this is what I told you, possession. Then sale, purchase, transport, import interstate, export interstate, or use of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. If you are found with a small quantity, rigorous imprisonment up to 6 months or fine up to 10,000 rupees, or with both. If it is more than small quantity but less than commercial quantity, rigorous imprisonment up to 10 years and fine of rupees 1 lakh. And if it is commercial quantity, it is rigorous imprisonment from 10 to 20 years, along with fine of 1 to 2 lakhs. Moving further, knowingly allowing one's premises to be used for committing an offense, same as for the offense, financing traffic and harboring offenders. That means if you know any person who is indulging in any of these activities and you are supporting him, that amounts to harboring an offender, imprisonment for 10 to 20 years and fine of rupees 1 to 2 lakhs. If there is any attempt, abetment or criminal conspiracy, same as for the offense. If there is any preparation to commit an offense, half the punishment of the offense. Just preparation, it is enough, and as I have already said, it is left to you to prove that you are innocent, you were not preparing for any offense in this act. If the offense is repeated 1.5 times the punishment for the offense, and in some cases you can see death penalty. Death penalty is also given in the NDPS cases. Maybe you might have heard in most cases, for example, in some of the sensational murder cases even, death penalty is not given. Whereas in NDPS, narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, if anything relating to commercial quantity is observed, death penalty will be awarded. Then coming to consumption of drugs, in all, most of the colleges in Mangaluru, we are finding students who are consuming drugs. What is the punishment for consuming drugs? If it is cocaine, morphine or heroin, rigorous imprisonment up to 1 year or fine up to rupees 20,000 or with both. And if it is other drugs, imprisonment up to 6 months and fine up to rupees 10,000 or both. So if anyone is found smoking even ganja, he will be arrested, because as I have said, it is all offenses are cognizable and police can arrest without warrant, and you will be sent to jail, and you will have to be, or you will be fined, you will be imprisoned for a period of 6 months, or you will have to pay a fine rupees 10,000 or with both. And one more thing, if you are volunteering to give up drugs, then there is immunity from prosecution. So here I need to mention that Mangaluru City Police, we are into a mission of creating drug-free Mangaluru. Silence, please. We want to create drug-free Mangaluru. For that reason, we have, from the police of Mangaluru city, we have formed 16 teams. We have 16 teams which are headed by one sub-inspector. We have identified some 300 colleges, which ranges from even high schools up to professional colleges. We as team are going to different colleges. First of all, we meet the teaching as well as the non-teaching staff of the college. We will have some data about the students who might have been abusing drugs. While we were talking in the morning, so madam was telling, we will come to know whether a student is in a habit of drugs or not, looking to the fact whether he is a regular absentee, a boy or a girl who regularly abstains from going to the college will have, or there is a probability that they are into drugs. And we have identified some 150,000 students, and our team has visited various colleges and they have spoken to the students and they have informed about the severity of this act as well as the problems of drug abuse. So my dear friends, I request each and everyone gathered here, one motto: say no to drugs. As I have said, possession of drug in itself, it is an offense. The punishment does not depend on whether the possession or purchase is for personal use or for resale, but it depends upon the quantity of the drug. Consumption of drugs, as I have said, is punishable under section 27 of NDPS Act. If you are ready to give up drugs, there is immunity from prosecution. And also, we have been telling, if any student is found indulging in drugs, definitely we will not book a case on him. Definitely we will allow de-addiction. And in the case of prosecution, if any case is registered, even though there is immunity, if the addict does not undergo the complete treatment of de-addiction, the immunity will be withdrawn. I have already told, offences under commercial quantities are non-bailable. Okay? I think something might have gone into your mind. That is, first and foremost thing that you will have to bear in mind, any offense under this NDPS Act is cognizable, police can arrest without warrant, and it is non-bailable, and it is very difficult to prove that you are innocent, and it is very difficult for you to come scot-free. And one more topic that was given to me, or it is with regard to the anti-ragging. But while I entered into the premises, this is for the first time that I am coming into your premises. Wonderful, wonderful. I feel privileged to be speaking to you in such a wonderful auditorium even. Definitely, I feel that you students, or you being students of this prestigious institution, you also feel the same. As I was entering the campus, I saw a good number of motorcycles, and inside also I saw a good number of cars. One thing that came to my mind was, along with this speech on drugs as well as anti-ragging, one more important thing that is needed is awareness about the traffic rules. I am a regular visitor of this area, even though I am not coming to this college. So I regularly move along Tokotu, Derlakatte, Konaje, Mudipu, etc. I have seen that 90% of the bike riders are not in the habit of wearing helmets. Maybe the same is the case with the students even. I think I can take some more time, madam. So it is a must that each and every rider or a driver knows about the traffic rules. For the controlling of traffic, we have got different laws. One major law is the Indian Motor Vehicle Act. This was formulated in the year 1989, and regularly there have been amendments. The recent amendment in the year 2022, it states that if any accident, any vehicle is met with an accident, if any rider of a motorcycle is found riding without a helmet, if anyone is seen carrying or triple riding, because two-wheeler is for only two, not for excess, but we see students or people carrying more than two. Similarly, if any person is caught going against one way, if any person is driving under the influence of drugs, maybe alcohol, in all these cases, the driving license of the person who is riding or driving the vehicle will be suspended. The driving license will be suspended, and in some cases, the registration of the vehicles are even cancelled. If a driving license is suspended, if at all you drive a vehicle without a driving license, also in cases wherein the persons who drive the vehicle doesn't have a license, or another mandatory thing is you will have to have, that vehicle should have insurance. Most of the people don't know the importance of insurance. Importance of insurance is whenever a vehicle meets with an accident, if anyone is injured, if anyone has died, then if that vehicle has got the insurance, the insurance company people, they will pay for the repair of the vehicle, the treatment of the injured, as well as the insurance with regard to the person who has died. In some cases, you should know that insurance may go up to 1 crore or 2 crores. The court will decide the amount of insurance that has to be paid for the person who is injured or who has died, depending on the age, the profession, and the earnings. If a young person who is working in maybe a IT industry, he is earning lakhs of rupees a month. If he meets with an accident, then the accused person, through the insurance company, they may have to pay more than 1 crore. But in cases, if it happens that that person is killed by a vehicle which doesn't have insurance, which driver doesn't have a driving license, then the insurance company will not pay the insurance amount that has to be borne by the person who is the registered owner of the vehicle. The registered owner of the vehicle, he is not supposed to give his vehicle to a person who doesn't have a driving license, and also he is bound to have insurance of his vehicle. So all students, please bear in your mind, before riding or driving any vehicle, you please see that whether you have a driving license, whether that vehicle has an insurance covered. If at all you don't have a driving license, and if that vehicle doesn't have an insurance coverage, please do not go for a ride. If something happens, because accident is accident, we can't foresee an accident. It can happen because of any reason. As I have said, maybe the other person, he may be under the influence of any drug, influence of any alcohol. You may be going along the right path. In many cases, we have seen that the vehicles coming on the opposite road, wherein there are dividers, they have crossed the dividers and they have hit the person who is driving on the other road. So, you will have to be very careful. And here we are seeing, because there are no underpasses or flyovers for the pedestrians to cross the road, they keep on regularly crossing the roads, and maybe you may be the one who may hit that pedestrian and you will get into trouble. So you will have to bear this in mind. And one more thing, importance of helmet, and that too with ISI mark. It is compulsory because we have seen that in most of the cases, in accidents, the death is due to head injury. A few days back, there was an accident near Mulki. In a crossroad, a four-wheeler suddenly emerged into the main road, and bike rider along with the pillion, they were going. Suddenly it hit the car, both fell down, and incidentally the pillion rider was a girl. Her head hit the road and she died instantly. Had she worn the helmet, definitely her life would have been saved. Students, you have to think about the agony of the parents who have lost their young children. So you'll have to bear in your mind, they'll have to follow these traffic rules. Okay, I won't take much time of yours, but it is mandatory to follow all the traffic rules. And one amended act of Central Motor Vehicle Act, that also has got very stringent punishment with regard to the insurance. Insurance will not be paid by the insurance companies. The owner or the registered owner of the vehicles, they have to bear the insurance. Please keep this in your mind. Okay, then coming on to anti-ragging. I have heard that in Mangaluru, the cases regarding ragging is very less. I don't think there is any ragging in this college, because all are well aware of the after effects of ragging. Even though we do not have any specific rules or law in Karnataka with regard to ragging, all will be dealt with, as I've already told, about IPC, Indian Penal Code. What all acts you do, if you tease a girl, it may amount to outraging the modesty of a woman. That amounts to an offense under section, a punishment under section 354. If you abuse any person, it will be 504 of IPC. If you give any life threat, that amounts to 506 of IPC. If you hit a person with your hand, that is 323 IPC. If you hit a person with any object, that amounts to 324. So anything that is done as ragging, definitely it is an offense and will be dealt in accordance to the provisions of Indian Penal Code. Similarly, there are various provisions in the institutions even. Definitely you will land in trouble. One and the last thing what I would like to emphasize on students is definitely enquiry or verification is needed for each and every student, because maybe you may be interested in getting your passports. If at all you need a passport, your antecedents will be verified in the police station in which limits you reside. Or you may go into any jobs, take for example a government job or any job in any private sector, your antecedents will be verified. If at all you indulge in any of the cases, if your name is entered in the police station records, definitely when an inquiry with regard to your passport or any verification comes, definitely you will land in trouble. You will not get NOC. At least for the reason of no objection certificate from the police, it is mandatory for you all to not get your name registered in the police station for unwanted reasons. Lastly, I request each and everyone who are gathered here to inform the police about any offences which occurs in your surrounding to the police. Mission of Mangaluru Police to create drug-free Mangaluru will not be achieved unless and until you, the student, support us. I request you to support us in making Mangaluru, or not just Mangaluru, anywhere we reside, entire India, to be drug-free. I thank each and everyone, especially the organizers, as well as the faculty of this PA institution for having me talk to the students, which I like the most, because once students get to know about the laws, the work of police will become easier. once again, thank each and every one of you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your expertise and insight with us. Today, we have amidst us Dr. Maji Jose, Dean Student Affairs, Yenapoya, deemed to be University. She has been the Deputy Director, Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, Yenapoya, deemed to be University. Ma'am has been oral pathologist by profession with over 28 years of experience in teaching for the undergraduate and postgraduate dental students. Ma'am has obtained PhD as Vice Principal, Yenapoya Dental College, served for 4 years primarily looking after the undergraduate academics and significantly contributed to students' welfare and streamlining undergraduate academic activities. Later, promoted as Dean Student Affairs, Yenapoya, deemed to be University, so working as Deputy Director, Center for Substance Abuse Prevention. Received Best Teacher Award from Yenapoya, deemed to be University. Ma'am has published 84 scientific publications in reputed scientific journals. Authored 2 textbooks, namely Manual of Oral Histology and Oral Pathology and Textbook of Oral Biology. Serving as a member of many college and university committees, including Malpractice Enquiry Committee of the university. Presently, Ma'am is pursuing MSW in counseling from Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi.
Mr. BP Dinesh Kumar. Now I request Dr. Sarfraz D. Hasim, Principal PA College of First Grade College, to felicitate the Chief Guest.
Dignitaries on the dais, esteemed faculty members, and my dear students. It's an honor and privilege to stand before you today, particularly when we are discussing about 2 important issues that has grabbed the campuses of our country, particularly drug and ragging. These are the 2 menaces that we all, as the teaching fraternity, we struggle to handle in our campuses. At this outset, I congratulate the management and the organizing committee for choosing this topic and also giving me a chance to interact with the students. So when I think of these 2 topics, I would like to quote the boy who has recited the prayer. I don't understand Arabic, but I heard the translation. I would take that particular, sentence which he has told. The acts of Satan. Is it correct? Yes, yeah. I would say these 2 things, ragging and drugs, these are definitely acts of Satan. Let me elaborate. Only somebody who is under the influence of Satan can do ragging. Because you know that a student who walks into a campus, particularly leaving their family behind, maybe first time to the hostel, they come in with lot of apprehension, lot of scared and tension. So at that particular time, instead of being a consolation to them and being a good friend or an elder sister or elder brother for them, and instead torturing them mentally and physically, this act can only be done by a Satan. Do you agree with me? Yes, and definitely if I take drugs, I would say any saint or any angel will automatically become a Satan once they are under the influence of drugs. Yes or no? Yes, so let us all try to be away from these two Satans. So I would request all the students to take a moment and think of the day you have come to this campus. And take your juniors as your younger brothers and younger sisters, and let us take a decision. With my batch, this chain is going to be broken, because it's my personal experience as a Dean Student Affairs. Whenever we deal with any situation where the juniors and seniors are having problems, they say that when we came, our seniors did that to us. I know that, probably some of you would have undergone some, unpleasant situation. But continuing it to the next generation is not justifiable. So let us all take a decision. Today, with my batch, we are going to take a decision that, we are going to break the chain. Though we had some bad experience with our seniors, we are not going to continue the same with our juniors. Rather, we are going to be loving brothers and sisters, or, companions for our juniors. Shall we take a decision? Yeah, thank you very much. So now I'm going with the topic which is given to me, that is, choose life and not drugs. So, our DCP sir has given a power-packed presentation with lot of information. I know that you are all, filled with information. So just to, break or, bring your mind out of that, I would like to play one video. Are you all ready to hear? See. Okay, so when you listen to this video, it's a song, it's a beautiful song. All of you enjoy the song. At the same time, pay perfect attention. And I'm seeing a lot of my friends there, boys, and I know that I'm seeing the teachers going around and then trying to, bring in their attention. So I request all the boys sitting behind and all the girls sitting in front to give me undivided attention for 5 minutes. Will you give me? Yeah, undivided attention. All the girls should think that the boy who is acting in this video is the most loved younger brother or elder brother. While all the boys sitting there should think that it is you yourself in that particular situation. With that feeling, please watch this video. 5 minutes.
నిన్నే చూసి లోకం చీ అంటుంటే పాపం, నిన్నే కన్న ప్రాణం ఏడుస్తోంది చూడు. చేతులారా నిన్ను నువ్వే చంపుకుంటావా? ఓ యువత, ఈ దేశంలో నువ్వే మా భవిత. ఈ దేశంలో నువ్వే మా
I hope all of you have paid attention. This is all what I have to tell you today. I never look at this video because I have a son of the same age. And I'm sure that any parent, any father or mother who are having children of the same age can watch this video without, eyes getting filled with tears. Okay, so let's come out of it. Yeah. So let me start. I'm giving a very brief presentation. So first of all, greetings from Yenapoya, deemed to be university, and I come from this campus. I'm very proud to be a part of Yenapoya, deemed to be university. So to begin with, what are these substances? Sir has already mentioned these substances what we are talking are nothing but drugs. These substances, they are, that they change, they alter the brain and causes change in the behavior. These are the substances we are basically concerned about. And why are we talking so much about drugs? Why your teachers have taken so much time out of your valuable, academic hours to enlighten you about this topic because of the implications of drugs? So if you look at, there are so many implications, but I would like to highlight only few. That is, first of all, addiction, and then medical problems or the health issues caused by substances, and the economic issues are country is facing, and also drugs as a social issue. Being a medical professional, I can, underline and I can confirm it with you. It's not a myth or it is anybody's imagination. The change that the drugs causes on the brain. It causes fundamental changes on the brain and makes a person very, very difficult to come out of it. And ultimately, a person gets addicted to substance. And why it is of great concern for you people, the youngsters who are sitting here, probably those who are on the dais, we are totally, maybe I can say, out of danger. But you youngsters, it's very, very important for you because young adults and the adolescents are highly susceptible to addiction because your brain is still in the formative stage, in the developing stage, and that is why you have got a lot of energy. And also you would like to take some, like a risky behavior. That's because your brain is still in the process of development. So such brains actually is susceptible to hierarchy hijack. So I would like to remind each one of you sitting here, the young adults, please don't get into any of this risky behavior because there is a high tendency for you people to get addicted to this. And definitely as a health professional, it's a great concern to me that, the health effects of substance abuse. I don't want to name the diseases that will taken care of by the doctors. So for a person, for a patient, it is not the name of the disease, it is the sufferings that a person undergoes because of the substance use that is a matter of concern. So this slide shows you any of these substances, it's not going to do anything good for your body. Rather, it damages each and every part of your body. You name it, maybe tobacco, marijuana, alcohol, cocaine, anything you take, it's going to be having damaging effect on your body. So it is for the sake of health, it is better to be away from these things. Then, this is one question many of my young friends ask me. Is it such a bad thing to use tobacco? Because our society has taken it very lightly because we are seeing big things, MDMA and ganja. And suppose your teacher or your parent comes to know that a student is using tobacco, they say, thank God it is only tobacco, it is not ganja. I have heard personally this, that is why I am telling you. But let me tell you, if any of the youngsters sitting here has a doubt whether tobacco is bad, I would, with strong conviction, I can say tobacco is extremely bad because I'm a pathologist. I sit and write the report of cancer cases. If anybody has a doubt, I invite you to come to Zulekha Yenapoya Oncology Center. You can see the number of people suffering, the number of people seeking treatment because of tobacco-related cancer. So tobacco is bad. So, and for youngsters, you might say that tobacco causes cancer after a long use of tobacco. But let me mind you, tobacco is a gateway drug. That's a name given to tobacco because tobacco opens the door to all other illegal drugs. Not only that, biologically, it causes the changes in the brain, makes the brain more susceptible to other addiction. So if anybody has a doubt, let me tell you, tobacco in any form of use, let it be cigarette or let it be bidi, hookah, pan masala, snuff, it is going to be dangerous for your health. And I would like to call the attention of all the students sitting here because you must have been very excited to hold a cigarette in hand, or some of you would have been excited to see someone holding a cigarette. Whenever I see any small shop in front of that, when the youngsters stand and smoke to glory, I feel so pity on them. I feel they are so foolish. Please remember the beautiful cigarette, if anybody offers you, and one more thing I'll tell you, first cigarette is always a gift. Nobody buys the first cigarette. If anybody offers you a cigarette, please bring in this picture into your mind. The beautiful white cigarette with a border of golden color. It is nothing but a cocktail of poisons. 4,000 poisons, chemicals are inhaled when somebody smokes a cigarette. Out of that, around 40 are cancer causing. So please remember, keep yourself away from cigarettes. So let me just draw the attention of girls also, because these days, when we do the raid of our ladies hostel, very rarely we get thin cigarette, mild cigarette. Let me mind you, there is nothing called as a safe cigarette or mild cigarette for ladies. All cigarettes contain tobacco and it is damaging for your mind and body, let me tell you. And definitely it is a social evil that you know it. You have seen it in your, that video. How it is a social evil. Any drugs, it causes relationship issues and it causes a lot of social issues. Let us just forget about it. But for youngsters who are sitting here, many of you have come to the campus for the first time, or you are in the initial days of your campus. Let me just enlighten you, because it's very important to stay away from this. You have to know how it begins and progress. So let us see. Any story of a drug addict, it begins with initiation. So initiation, you see how many people are there in the like a picture? One person. It may be because of the pressure from the friends or due to any other reason somebody decides to use any substance of abuse. Individually that person is taking a decision, willfully saying yes to that. That is initiation. But the moment a person uses a substance, who will join that person? The addictive substance in that particular substance. If you take tobacco, the nicotine in the tobacco, it's highly addictive. That's, like a addictive substance joins and pushes that person deeper and deeper into addiction. And then what happens? Ultimately, that person reaches a stage that they are totally fallen into addiction. They cannot survive without using that substance. And without a help from another person, it is very, very difficult for such a person to come out. So I draw your attention. Most important is don't initiate it. Don't, because that time you are alone, you can take independent decision. Say no to drug, don't start it. And why people uses it? I know that each and everyone sitting here knows drugs are bad. Is there anybody thinks drugs are good? I don't think so. Drugs are bad. Sir said, okay, there are medicines are also drugs. We are not talking about that, illegal drugs. It's bad. Everybody knows from childhood, from the school days, your teachers and your parents are telling you, stay away from it. But still people uses it. Why? There are two reasons. One is the risk-taking behavior of youngsters. The youngsters want to have new experiences, they want to try out new things, and they want to share it with others. And on the other hand, there are people who think drugs is a solution for their problems. Maybe stress, tension, breakups. Main thing these days, young generation, relationship breakup. This is a new terminology for us. Okay, so these are some of the excuses the students give. But then what happens? Due to some reason people take it. Then ultimately this is the condition. Would you like to be in this situation? I don't think any of us want to be fools like this, right? Yeah, so the message for you is prevention is better than cure. Now, some tips for you. Sir has already told you about the legal aspects of it. So let me talk about how we can, because you might think that it is very easy for an elderly lady to stand on the dais and preach that, like you do this. Only we know the stress what we are going through. Many of you may be thinking that. But I understand that, the condition what you are going through, it may not be very pleasant. But then, let me tell you some tips for you how you can stay away from all these things. First thing is strong conviction. Strong conviction. What should be your conviction? The drugs take you to hell, disguised it as a heaven. Because your friends may tell you, take a puff and you feel that you are floating. You are in the heaven. Okay? But then later you realize that you have gone even beyond hell. So please remember, drugs take you to hell, disguising you it as heaven. And then be cautious, be aware. And sir has already mentioned the drug peddlers' main target is educational institutions, because their main customers are youngsters. Where are they? They are in the educational institution. We have even heard that the drug peddlers sponsor the students to join various institutions so that they can attract more customers. So beware of that. Educational institutions and surroundings are actually targets of drug peddlers. Be very careful, don't fall prey to them. And then all of you should set a goal. Why have I come to this college, to PA campus? Your dreams, your parents' dreams, your teachers' dreams. Set a good goal. You have come here to develop, to get into a good career. So set a goal for yourself and stop before you start. Learn to say big no. Very, very strongly you have to say no if any of your friend offers you any substances of abuse. That's an art. You have to say no which you don't agree to. And in addition to that, you should develop some healthy, lifestyle. And also, you should have close relationship with your relatives and friends. Because I request all the hostelites to call your parents at least once a day so that they will share their dreams for you. You can share your dreams with them. These all things will motivate you to be away from any of the blocks that comes in front of you, from you developing into a good person. And definitely you have to say engage. You know that all of you are aware of our old saying, idle mind is a devil's workshop. So where did we start with? Satan's activity. We don't want to fall prey to Satan's activity. Keep yourself engaged. And all of us need some motivation in life. Even as an elderly lady, even I have to have some happiness and motivation in life. Then what about the youngsters? So do something which makes you happy. Okay? And then the last thing, remember, alcohol, tobacco or drugs is not a solution for the problems in life. Many of them are totally devoid of any problems. Problems of the students are different, problems of teachers are different, problems of parents are different. I would say all of you must have seen the ECG. As long as our life is on, it will have ups and downs. And only place where you see nil problem is graveyard. So till we reach there, we will have problems in life. Be courageous, face it, instead of taking refuge in any of the substances as a temporary solution. And this is an important thing for you, because many a times youngsters, fall into the trap of peer pressure. Because I do understand, because we also have gone through these situations, because your friends group forces you. They say that if you don't use this, you are not my friend. So there's tremendous pressure to be in the group. So please learn to say no to your friends and understand if your friends group is forcing you to do something which is unacceptable to you, just get out of that friends group. Definitely you will have good friends waiting outside for you. And these days the substance abuse, it is not starting in the colleges, rather it is starting in the school itself. So if there is anybody sitting here has already started with any of these things, I urge all of you to take steps, accept the mistake and take steps to come out of it. You take the help of your mentors, you take the help of your teachers who will guide you how to come out of this problem. If not, if somebody is already into it and if you don't take care of it, what is going to happen was well depicted in that video. And few things I just want to highlight. Sir has already told the Narcotic Act. Many a times, as a teacher, and as a teacher who is taking care of a big campus of 11,000 students, every day when I watch the TV news or the newspaper, I just pray I should not see any of my friend, any of my student in this situation. And I'm sure that every parent, every teacher would be wishing the same. But unfortunately, I had to face such a situation. And I'm sure that, I just want to tell you people, please stay away from the substances. Sir has told you, even using it, peddling it and even carrying it, you have to be extremely smart. Somebody may be asking you to carry a baggage from outside to college. So if you don't trust that person, don't carry it, because you may be unnecessarily getting into trouble, and we don't want any of you to get into this similar situation. So, finally, prevention is better than cure, and early intervention is desirable before a person gets into deep-seated habits. So, let me close it by giving you a take-home message. A decision that is made until the age of 21 years, probably most of you would be around this age. A decision what is taken until the age of 21 could mean a difference between a life which is enslaved by addiction or a life filled with success. And I want all of you to be, and not only me, all the management people, including DCP sir and all your parents sitting at home, we all wish you to be the winners. So please make sure that all of you keep yourself away from all the substances of abuse. So be smart, don't start, and if anybody has started, put it out before it puts you out. And a few help which is available, you can use it, because these are the two initiatives of Yenapoya deemed to be university by the psychiatry department. There is a 24/7 helpline. Anybody can call, that somebody will be answering the call. It need not be drug related issues. It may be your personal issues, or if you are in depression, or if you want to talk to somebody, help will be provided. So you can note down this number, or I can share it with your teachers. Please use it. They will not even ask you to reveal your identity. Okay, so if anybody is going through difficult situation in life, please feel free to use this facility. And if anybody wants help for counseling, it may be drug related or anything else, we have a center called as Encourage. That is situated in Yenapoya Nursing Home, opposite to Cochin Bakery. All of you know Cochin Bakery, right? And also Cochin Village, just next to Cochin Village. Please make use of this facility. Keep yourself safe from all the substances of abuse and all the psychological issues. So say yes to life and no to drug. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being wonderful audience, and thanks to the management and all of you for giving me a chance to be with the PA College students. Thank you very much. So now that all of you are enlightened that your drug is going to be bad for you, shall we take a pledge? With wholeheartedly, how many of you are willing to take a pledge? Those who are willing to take a pledge wholeheartedly, please stand up. Stretch your right hand.
So I request everyone to raise your right hand and take a pledge. Repeat whatever I read. Are you ready? I recognize tobacco, alcohol, and all illicit drugs as the greatest enemies to the mankind. Therefore, I pledge to abstain from the use of all substances of abuse and spread awareness about the hazards of the same to the community. I pledge to lead a healthy, substance-free lifestyle and will encourage my friends to go substance-free in an effort to promote health and wellness. Thank you.
Now I request Dr. Sarfraz J. Hasim, Principal PA First Grade College, for the Presidential Address.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and my dear students, Before I start, I request every one of you to kindly raise and express gratitude to two great personalities for sparing their valuable time to us by a huge round of applause. Now you can imagine the seriousness of the problem that the entire world is facing. The DCP sir himself is personally with us for the last 2.5 hours, sparing all his important work aside. So that means you know how important these two topics are.
Thank you and this felicitation.
My dear students, I know you are hungry. Yes? All right. So I will not take more than 2 to 3 minutes. So I hope you can bear with me. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me mention one important story. Have you heard of Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett, one of the richest person in this world. He has a passion to play golf. So all these rich people have a passion to play golf, you know that. So he, along with the Bill Gates and other great richest people in this world, one day they were playing this golf. And one among them said, there is no motivation, let us keep on competition. And the competition is, the one who puts the ball into the pit in a single attempt has to be rewarded. And what to reward? They said each one of us will contribute $50. And then the volunteers started collecting money from everyone. Everyone gave except Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said, I will not give. Then everyone said, this is a small peanut for you. It is $50. You are one among the richest person in this world. For you it is nothing. He said, no, I will not give. Then again the team members pressurized him. Maybe you are angry with me. We just want to know what is there in your mind. And Warren Buffett said, if you are stupid of these small things, you will be stupid of great things too. So he said, there is no meaning in it. We are playing not to gain money. We are playing out of passion to release the stress. That should be the motivation, not the money. And sometimes it is applicable to us. As the saying goes, if you are stupid about small things, you will be stupid about big things too. What I relate to this program is, there are a lot of people who smoke. It is a stupid manner of small thing. And the next it goes to the drugs and substance abuse and some more. Let me tell you, when you are smoking or when you are abusing the drugs or substance, you are neglecting your health. And you should remember, when you are neglecting your health, health also neglects you. Let me tell you how this smoking, addiction happens. There were 3 people who were walking on the streets. They are good friends, out of which 2 of them were chain smokers. Third one did not smoke till day. So these friends, they started smoking and they gave a cigarette to this person also. Actually, he don't want to smoke, but to please his friends, he took a cigarette and started smoking. And the friends asked, how was it? Actually, it is very sour, it is not tasty. To please his friends, he said, fantastic. What did he say? Fantastic. And when you say fantastic, you have a powerful mind within you which knows to say yes. So your mind said yes. And automatically the taste buds are ignited. So next time also he started smoking and he felt more and more tastier. This is how the drug addicts or the smoking addiction happens. There are so many de-addiction centers, but it is a strong willpower that is required for us to stop that. So today madam has shown a very beautiful video. The moment you think of all this, immediately you think of your parents. You have your siblings. You have your relatives. How they will feel when something happens to you. That is the primary thing that we should understand. And you know, the primary goal of education is to make ourselves fearless, to make us more confident to take the challenges in our life. I don't want to say more because more, the legal aspects, the physiological aspect, the psychological aspects are also covered by the two great resource persons today. Now, once a doctor was called by an NGO to address a group of alcoholics. Doctor wanted to demonstrate how alcohol caused damage to the human body. He took two beakers. In the first beaker it was the water, and in the second beaker it was alcohol. And he took earthworms, earthworms. He took earthworms and dropped into both the beakers. After some time, the earthworm which was placed in the beaker containing water survived. And the alcohol which was placed in the beaker containing alcohol disintegrated. Then the doctor asked the group of alcoholics, what is the moral of the story? And the alcoholics happily said, if you drink alcohol, there will be no worms in your stomach. Was that the actual moral? No. This is what we call as a selective listening. So I hope you have not selectively listened. You have listened to everything, including the legal, the physiological and the psychological aspects of this great menace. And the next topic that we wanted to highlight today is about the ragging. Just because your juniors have born 1 or 2 years later than you, they are not your subordinates. Your duty to see that they are comfortable in the campus. Even asking them to sing a song, and if the student don't like it, it is punishable under the Indian Penal Code. And asking a name in a manner which he feels as an insult is also ragging. Forget about other hazardous issues happening in the ragging. You see, there are so many people who commit suicide because they couldn't sustain the ragging. The current generation are mentally weak, some of them, because of the food and because of the addiction with the screen. So, it is each one of us responsibility to take care of two things. Let us make this campus as a drug-free zone, and also let us make this campus as a ragging-free campus. I hope you all will cooperate to maintain the dignity of the students, and if you start, then the message will go out and the entire nation will be drug-free and also the ragging-free. I wish you all the best. Once again, I thank the Deputy Commissioner of Police, who was also a teacher like us before joining the police department. So that I feel it is a really passionate to be with the students. Sir has said that he will go early, but now he was there till the end of the program, keeping aside all his important tasks. From all the institutions here, I express sincere gratitude to you, sir. And madam, who is the Dean of Student Affairs of Yenagoa, deemed to be university, and also heading the Center for Drug Abuse and Prevention. Madam is also very busy, but still, as a love towards this institution, she has come here and addressed all of us. Once again, I express my gratitude to you, madam. And to all my students who spent this about more than 3 hours in a disciplined manner, let me congratulate you all to the students of PA College of Pharmacy as well as PA First Grade College. A big salute to you all, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Event. Your precious time was of greater importance, and your inspirational words a lot to us. I now request Dr. Salimullah Khan, Principal, PA College of Pharmacy, to felicitate the guest of honor, Dr. Majid Jose, with a memento as an expression of love and gratitude.
Thank you, sir. Gratitude is one of the most human emotions and is a principal PA College of Pharmacy to propose the vote of thanks.
First of all, I extend my most sincere thanks to the Almighty God for making today's event resounding success. We are very grateful to Mr. Abdullah Ibrahim, Managing Trustee, PAET, for his immense support to organize this event. On behalf of PA College of Pharmacy and PA First Grade College, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Mr. BP Dinesh Kumar, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Crime and Traffic, Mangalore City. Sir, your thoughts and presentation have enlightened us minds and have shown us a right path. Thank you, sir. A special thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. Maji Jose, Deputy Director, Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, Anapa University, for accepting our invitation and for being with us this morning. Thank you, madam, for that interesting and informative speech. I am very thankful to Mr. Sharfuddin PK, AGM PET campus, who is always cooperating and supporting with our program in all the ways. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Dr. Sajish Raghunathan, Principal, PA Institute of Physiotherapy, and Dr. Syed Amin Ahmad, Dean Student Affairs, PAET, and Director, CMSR, for gracing the occasion by their valuable presence. I also thank Mr. Haris TD for his gracious presence. My sincere thanks to Dr. Salimullah Khan, Principal, PA College of Pharmacy, and Dr. Sarfraz J. Hashim, Principal, PA First Grade College, for their help and support at various stages. I would like to thank the people who worked behind the scene to make this event happen. Our site office team, Physical Director Dr. Iqbal, Campus Supervisor